Society said that men, black men in general, think of himself as a baby. He calls his girlfriend his mama, his friends his boys, and his home his crib. This society, led by the sayings of Francis Cress Welsing, a psychiatrist born in the Jim Crow era and was very spoken out about racism. These traits can very well be related to people of any color, but for right now, it's one particular person that meets this criteria. Joseph Summers, better known as Jodi, was born in 1980. We can see this when his mother claimed that he needs to repair her back for all the years of pain and suffering.
Hell yeah, I want some money. 20 years worth. Shit, boy, if you was one of them mutual funds, I'd be.
He has 2 kids, one with Peanut and a son with his fiancée Yvette, named Little JoJo, and they also have one on the way. Speaking of mother, he was born in Miss Juanita with another older sibling named Ray. Not sure who his father is, but he was referenced as being a thug. He would fall right in Cress's theory. Although Jodi was grown, he was broke. He was quick to express his feelings about it. But why was he broke? Looking into his background, he doesn't say anything about having felonies. But I hate to say this, America generally looks at you as a product of your environment. Let me explain. Jodi is from South Central Los Angeles, and we can hear that Melvin, his mother's new boyfriend, grew up in Inglewood, a notorious city that housed a Crip gang, and if you look around, you can see that Jodi's main color of choice is blue. His mom Crip walking, the boys at his store, and a little boy saying cuz. Those are all the Nation of Blue characteristics. So, Jodi might be part of the Crip gang or affiliated, not to mention his close friend, P, also sports blue. No rival gang colors are seen throughout the scenes. As a product of his environment, does that make him not want to get a job? He drinks an Alizé a day.
1 Alizé a day.
Jodi is trying, and he starts selling clothes at the back of his trunk. This kept money in his pocket, and along with the money comes the women. Yvette was suspicious of his actions, but like a man, we're going to do what we want to do. He slept around on her a lot, even hooked up with a co-worker, and that was a big no-no. Even with his money, he couldn't afford anywhere to stay on his own, so he had to revert to living back with his mother. But she wasn't too happy about this because, like I said, she had a new boyfriend, Melvin. Jodi wasn't too fond of her relationship because, like the last relationship she had with a guy named Henry, resulted in her kicking out her other son, Ray, which led to him getting shot on the streets, and Jodi wasn't having it. He would use insults like, "You haven't left the nest," or "Why should I?" or "This is Big Mama's house." He was afraid to grow up and leave home. He was afraid to be a man.
Jodi don't want to live with me. He want to live with his mama.
Big Mama was his grandma, and she must have passed because the house was left to Miss Juanita. Jodi learns the hard way and finds out that Melvin has a deeper, darker side of him. He was part of the Hoover Crips, and by looking at his tattoos, he committed a 187. This is the code for the act of committing a serious crime of deleting someone's life, and he also referred that he had to cut up a few people, resulting in him having to do 10 years in San Quentin State Prison in California. Not only is Melvin his number one enemy, he also makes a new enemy named Rodney. Rodney is Yvette's ex-boyfriend, and he's a straight jailbird. He also pushes the Blue Nation, and he has become his sworn enemy to Jodi. First, he calls his phone at Yvette's house, and second, he tries to shoot him months later. But who is in the wrong in this picture? All it takes is for Yvette to put a block on the phone like he asked, and why is she telling all this business? Is it because Jodi don't know how to get his act together? She also tells her best friend Jodi business too. Maybe she feel the connection between Rodney and Jodi because, to be honest, Jodi is on probation. Well, these months pass for Rodney because we can see the corn in Miss Juanita's garden grows to full length, and that usually takes 90 days to grow, and we can eyeball this and say it's around August. He first tells Melvin that he's seen his son in Morningside High School, with school starts in August, and count 3 months back from August is May. And we can see the school bus still running, which accounts that school is still opening, which is possibly in May. This is also the month that you can start growing food in your garden. Rodney is now home and he is released on a Monday. This is the same day Yvette got off, which she got off the day before because she stole her car back from Jodi and Saturday morning cartoons was on. This will create a life-changing moment for Jodi, but first he gets jumped by some little ninjas for his Alizé and his bike, but they only took the liquor. Rodney disrespects Jodi's son by kicking over his fort and trying to assault Yvette in front of little Jodi. This sends Jodi into a frenzy, but first he must deal with the drama at home because his mom accuses him of marijuana in her garden, which was Melvin's product, and him and Melvin gets into a confrontation, which leads to a full-fledged fight, which gets him kicked out of the house. The weekend rolls back around, and this time, Rodney is taking it to the extreme. He does a drive-by on Jodi at his friend Pete's house, but he may have made a terrible mistake because Pete was one of those friends that will have your back, right or wrong, and later that night when Rodney went to the breaker box to turn it on, he ran into Jodi. He didn't seem nervous or worried, but when he seen Pete, it was like he seen a ghost. He knew what Pete was all about. Jodi wasn't the killer, but he had to show Rodney that he meant business, and Rodney's life was ended. Let's say September 2000. At the end of the day, Jodi and Melvin becomes cordial, and now Jodi lives with Yvette, but I just got one thing I want to say. Why would you leave my son with Rodney to be picked up, knowing that we have a problem, and why would you just let this man come move up in your apartment, knowing that we still have a serious issue? You know that I know that y'all been talking on the phone, and you know that I know that he's your ex, and you may think I'm not good enough for you, so you could possibly want to move him back in and get rid of me. Let's not forget, they were ignoring each other, not intentionally, but minds do wonder. We can say what we want to say about Jodi, but sometimes Yvette was the problem in a lot of these issues. And I don't want to hear that we was broken up so she was free to do what she wanted to do, because there's a limit on love, and where I come from, you gotta wait like a few months for everything to really be over. Plus, I'm not saying Jodi wasn't wrong either, but if you find out that I said something wrong or you don't agree with me, please let me know below. Peace.